Welcome to the Saturday morning live stream here at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters in Zone 5B, 6A, Northern Indiana. And it is a beautiful day. Beautiful day. And for a beautiful Viking day means that it is cloud cover. Full 100% cloud cover. That's what we love. That's what this skin loves. That's what the plants love. Everything loves some good cloud cover. Yes. Because it diffuses the light. And that's one reason things grow really well in a greenhouse, because it's diffused light. So it doesn't actually like bake down on the plants. You know, yeah, because most of the plants that you're growing are actually not native to the area that you're growing them in. So they're not, it's not like the weeds. The weeds, the local indigenous weeds in the area can take whatever the climate is because they've got the home field advantage. But most of the vegetables that we're growing are little princess vegetables, you know, that they need, they need just the right temperature, just the right, it's a little too sunny, it's a little too much shade, a little too much water. Whereas the weeds are just like boom and cracking the concrete, you know? So there's a big difference in the home field advantage, all right? So let's see where you guys are at. Let me know where you are at and what is up. What have you recently planted? If you're watching this after the fact, let us know in the comments. What have you recently planted? And how is your fall garden doing? Yeah, where you're at, because people read through these comments and they gain knowledge from it, of course. And so if they're like, oh, you're in Wyoming, zone whatever, and you just planted these, well, that's good. Okay, maybe I could have done that, or maybe I should do that next year. So it's all good. The more people that's in the Viking tribe, the more knowledge base we can gain from, so long as people share and participate. So let us all know. But also let us know your failures, or failures. You know what I mean? There is no failure, of course. If you've watched some of my videos, you know this philosophy, of course, because we will learn from them. We will know that, okay, well, you don't plant ginger the same day that you take it out of your indoor grow room, like I did this year, because I was overzealous and I just thought, oh, well, sink or swim, it'll be fine. And we ended up having 4 weeks of blazing hot sun and no rain and no cloud cover. And the ginger cooked. I mean, it fried. All the leaves burnt and they all died, except for the one that was in 75% shade. That one is now thriving. I mean, just huge and thriving. There's going to be tons of ginger there. But guys, it was up against the north side of the house. Okay. It was up against the north side of the house and on the east side of a north-south fence. So it was tucked in that corner. So it got almost zero direct sunlight. And that ginger is just exploding. It's huge. It's incredible. So this is how we learn. This is how we know. Okay, the ginger I had in full blast blazing sun didn't thrive. I mean, it all came back, but it's nothing like the ginger that was in the shade. So I would say, based upon my experience, that if you have a spot that is predominantly shade, or your shadiest area, you can plant ginger. And likewise, turmeric, probably. Although I can't say 100% sure for turmeric, because I haven't experimented to this degree with the turmeric. But ginger can take pretty much full shade. So let's see here. VA Green says, was it the sun or the transformation from indoor? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't harden it off nearly correctly. But although in years past, though, when I did harden it off correctly and have it in full sun, it still didn't do nearly as well as this ginger did in the shade. Now, I also gave this ginger some of the Viking granular nutrients that I'm in the developing phase for you guys. So that definitely played a part because it had everything that it needs and then some. But also the sunlight is a huge, huge factor. Because I mean, I always have rich, thriving soil anyways. So let's see who's here. Oh man, you guys been having a big old conversation. Good. B, just excited for the knowledge today. Yes, hungry for the knowledge. Good. Let's see, Kill Me Last, ROS. Rules of Survival says, I'll be having lunch at that time, but we'll log in after. Oh, that was at 9:45. Man, you guys were up early on here. Okay, Ozark Valley says, good morning. I'm looking for more info on using the composter you recommended. How much, when to water it? The composter, how much to water it? You really don't need to. So if you watch the video that I made about the easiest compost ever, you will see that it is a slow composter. And so what you want to do is you want to get the compost pile started. Now this is important though, guys, because a lot of people will just get a composter and a slow composter, and they'll just start adding their food scraps. And they'll be like, you know what? I've been adding food scraps for like 5 months and there's no compost in it. It just turns to nothing. You know, and yes, it will appear to do that. So what you have to do is you have to create the pile first, meaning a certain combination of browns, sort of browns and greens like that, grass clippings, leaves, cardboard boxes, manures are brown or greens, urine, you can add that. You can add all that stuff, but get it all the way to the top first, okay? This is the key, the secret. You want to get that pile started, fill that whole composter first with a good combination of greens and browns. And then you begin adding slowly, little by little, your food scraps and your little bit of weeds or cuttings or whatever it is from the garden. And then that's all gonna, then that's gonna compost down. And you will have compost. I mean, I have loads of compost. So that's the key though, because like my mother, for example, we didn't go over that part of it. And so they're like, you know, we've been throwing stuff in that composter like all season and it's like, there's nothing in there. When are we going to have compost? I was like, yeah, should have told you that part, but. Ooh yeah, guys, today we went simple with it. This is just fresh garden sage steeped in boiling water for about 10 minutes with some raw local honey. Yes? But once we get the land and the school, we will be having our own hives. We'll be having all of that stuff. It will be so wonderful. But for now, we have to buy it. So now we have to buy it. Let's see. Manal Al-Gharabali says, I'm in Kuwait. The temperature is 43. I imagine you mean in Celsius. Now I just mixed my soil. We'll start seeding next week. What is 43 Celsius to Fahrenheit? Let's see. RK says lettuce will do great in 50 degrees. Yes, that actually leads me to, I don't know if I should get into it now, but I want to show you guys a number of the stuff that you can still plant right now. I'm in zone 5, 6, northern Indiana, but there's many things that you guys can still plant now. These are actually things that I am going to plant today. The Japanese giant mustard. Now, it's sort of a crapshoot at this point because it might not have time to grow to its full majesty, but it will grow big enough. All right. And the green wave mustard greens, because this will be for the kimchi and the stir fries. Also, I'm going to go ahead and plant some of this winter Landis winter lettuce. But also some white turnips, because we will still get at least baby turnips. But if it's a good season, I mean, as far as like if it doesn't get too cold too quick, we'll get full-size turnips even. But things like these three, I'm gonna plant in a area. See, I just removed potatoes yesterday, so we'll tell you guys about the potatoes. We just removed the potatoes yesterday, so we're gonna put these in there today from seed, and then we're going to keep it moist, and it's going to grow, of course. But then if it's in an area where if it's going to get too cold too quick, or I want to extend the season, then I can just put a PVC little hoop house over it. No problem. Just put the PVC over it and the plastic. Maybe I'll make a video on that. I should make a video on that. Let's see here. The Captain Jerry, hello my friend, says, hi Nate, it's Captain Jerry. Just wondering what I should do with my little peach tree plants that I started from pits. So I'm in zone 6B, should I plant them now? That's my question. Jerry, I do believe that I answered that question. You asked me that, right, on a different platform. and little peach trees that I started from pits. And I said, yes, so long as they are peaches that are hardy to your zone. So that's important. If like here in northern Indiana, we can only grow a certain type of peach. We can't grow Georgia peaches, here, because the winters will kill it. But if it's a peach tree that you that can overwinter in your area, then absolutely plant it now, because it will do better in the ground than it would in a pot. Unless you're going to grow it up like in a greenhouse all winter, and you're going to put it in a huge pot so it can really get established with roots and everything, then sure. But I would just put it in the ground. Yeah, I would just put it in the ground. But if it's one of those that you like got from a store or something, then it's hard to tell. We don't really know its characteristics. That's one reason that using grocery store stuff or whatever is kind of a crapshoot, because we don't know the characteristics, and we want to know the characteristics for the most part. Wayne Correll says most trees and shrubs love to go in the ground now. Yes, absolutely, they love to go in the ground now. Scarecrow Valley says, Nate, what do you think about taking the crab apples along with the leaves in a JDOM bucket for my fruit trees this coming spring and summer? Yes, so long as you add different stuff in there, because if it's just apples, the sugar ratio, and I've done this before, that's how you make apple cider vinegar. You just cube up apples and cover them in water and leave them for a long time. And that's pretty much it. Now, with the leaf mold, I haven't made an apple JLF. I assume that's what you mean by the JDOM. So I would add some, but I would add other things. You want to make sure that you add other things, because that's going to help to diversify the nutrient profile. You could also compost a lot of the crab apples, but yes, definitely utilize them, especially if it's for the apples. But if it's for other fruit trees, I don't know. Some, but don't make it all. Let's see here. Kip Tap, $10. Thank you very much, my friend. First tip of the day says, don't forget the air compost tea video, unless you're saving it for spring. Yeah, I know, guys, but it's the kind of thing where I'm a professional social media person now, so I have to pay it. So this is like a business. Well, it is. It's a business. It's a job. It's all that kind of stuff, as well. And it's going to become more so because everything is just expanding in this whole direction. But that being said, you have to kind of pay attention to the metrics of your channel and how the performance of it and all of that. Because contrary to popular belief, guys, a YouTuber only gets paid based upon watch time. That's it. It doesn't matter subscribers, doesn't even matter views, really. All that matters is minutes watched. And so a few weeks ago, that just plummeted off a cliff. Just boom. And so that every single video I've put out in the last month or so has just done worse than the last one, for some unknown reason. But that is, of course, Jenny is going to text me right during the live stream. She knows it's the live stream. But so that is, so I have to pay attention to that. So I don't want to put that video out, because it's you need to save kind of some of them really good videos that are going to do really well. You have to kind of strategically place those. I know it's beyond gardening and all that stuff, but you have to think about these kind of things when it becomes your job. So for that reason, I'm probably going to save it till the spring, and as well, though, I wanted to go a full season where I have only used the aerated compost tea videos. So I have not used, not even the JDOM stuff, guys, except the fish fertilizer. I have my own compost tea recipe that I make, and I use copious amounts of the fish. Okay, don't shave the Viking again. Yeah, I know. Yeah, what do you think? Should I grow out a beard again? Do you guys remember that thing, man? It's like walking around with a a marsupial of some kind on your face, you know? But yeah, so for that reason, I'll probably release it in the springtime, and that way, so I wanted to go this whole season, and everything has absolutely thrived. There's been no diseases, there's been no, just no issues. I mean, there's a little bit of pest pressure, yeah. Some of my greens, they have holes in them, of course, but you're just gonna get that. I mean, this year, I didn't spray anything. Not even the JDOM stuff. So, because the plants were so healthy. Now, a good part of that is because we had a merciful season of rain. We had good amount of rain, but also because the plants were just super healthy as well. And by this point, the soil is up to par. Now, for a lot of you guys, that's not going to be it's not going to be enough. And now, this several years of having the soil right on point, you know, adding manures, adding and using the microbial solutions and stuff. So at this point, it's everything is already there. It's enriched. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that that was still good, that that was still possible to just use the aerated compost teas. And I did all season long, and it's been magnificent. So, and it's given us so much bounty, guys. The bounty is out of this world with the, I'll show you guys some stuff here in a minute. But there's a little bit of beard talk here. Let's see. Okay, so you guys, so here, let's see. RK says, beards are annoying. Beards are annoying. Well, that doesn't sound very fun. So I'm just kidding, though. But don't shave the bike. So who else said something? Therese, yes, hello, says, grow the beard only if you're going to braid it. Genre Viking to the max. That's true. That is true. I mean, everyone thinks beard and Viking and all of that, of course. But of course, a true Viking, it doesn't matter what your facial hair looks like or what kind of clothes that you're wearing if you are the spirit of the Viking, which is the spirit of exploration of the final frontier, which is of the mind and of the nature of reality and of the earth, yes? And to adapt what technologies work for you, yeah? I've gotten a lot of comments from guys, oh, I think I said this last time, but they're like, oh, yeah, you got your indoor grow tent just like the Vikings did, or you've got your aerated compost tea just like the Vikings did. And I'm saying, guys, you're missing the point, because the Vikings were marvels of adaptation, and they would adjust and adapt, but they would also utilize whatever technology, the latest cutting edge technology, whatever was available to them, they would use it. They wouldn't say, nope, we're not going to navigate the seas with this brand new method because the old ways of just going blind or using the stars is the only way we're going to use. No, they would say, wow, this new technology is going to enable us to achieve our goal, so let us use it. Yeah? And this is the garden like a Viking. That's the Viking aspect, okay? It's so much deeper. We're not just like drinking out of horns with horned helmets and stuff, like pretending like we're historical Vikings. No, I'm talking about real Viking right now in this life. So there's my rant on that. Zach Anderson says, if you don't have a beard, your garden won't grow as good. Ooh, yeah, I know. Well, I consider this no beard. This is no beard. So I don't think I'll ever shave again unless I have to. Because when I did it this spring and I was looking at, I don't even want to look at myself. It's like so weird. It's like going outside with no clothes on, you know, with no pants on. You're like, what? Yeah, okay, so there's a lot of beard love here. Mom Computer says, I prefer the close-cut beard myself. Very good look for you, just my opinion. Thank you very much, my friend. And that's what I think too. Kind of cleans it up a bit, you know. But historically, when I was traveling and stuff, I would have big beards. But it's different when you're in front of the camera all the time and people are seeing you and you're like a social media kind of person now and stuff, so... Muddy Paws says, do you shave with the skull crusher? Almost. I could. One thing I don't shave with is these disastrous, ridiculous scissors from Fiskars. Remember my review about these jokes of a thing? So I just wanted to leave them here so that they can remain in exile and sort of ridicule, so that maybe the board of directors that came up with this design at Fiskars would pay attention to this, and they would say, oh man, this was foolish. You know, we let our 6-year-old son design this one. But that being said, most of Fiskars' other stuff is really good stuff. I love Fiskars. And guys, because you know Christmas is coming up, remember, I'm not sponsored by anyone, okay? I don't take sponsorships like any of that. So no one pays me to say anything except you guys. I mean, you are my only sponsors. So so anything that I tell you is 100% my own opinion. Any links I put in the description, it's just Amazon stuff or whatever it is. But if you guys have a wood splitter in your life, this is the ultimate Maul. And I put the links in the description. I've used so many of them because when I lived in the mountains, my whole life revolved around, I mean, all winter long, this is the only heat source. And so I've used so many different kinds of Mauls, but this one is beyond, it's just the best by far. It's something about the design and the slenderness of it and the way that this is oval like this. So it just helps you, man. If it can't be split by me with this thing, then it can't be split by hand. I'll make that statement. But yeah, if you guys want that, I put a link in the description so you can get one yourself or get one for your friend that needs one. Pam says, Nate, does it help if we watch your videos over many times? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about for helping out the channel? Thank you, Pam. But yes, definitely. It's you know, my mom, she just puts on my live Q&A playlist and just lets it play. I mean, while she's working and stuff. So she claims that the dog really likes them. So, but yeah, it's wonderful. So yes, thank you. Any watch time. What isn't good though is if you click on the video and then watch 5 seconds of it and click off, or if you watch like just a part of it and click off. So it's like, so if you really want to help the channel, I mean, it doesn't matter that much, but if you really want to help the channel, then you will click on the video and let it play through. Even if you don't have to watch it, then just let it play all the way. That's what matters. All that matters to as far as YouTubers and the algorithm and getting paid and growing your channel is watch time. And, you know, I don't employ any of those tactics as far as like, you know, well, wait till the end and then I'm going to give you some little tidbit, some tiny little morsel of knowledge. No, I don't like playing those kind of games in the things, you know, and giveaways and all that kind of stuff, which maybe we'll do that kind of stuff, but I'm just not there yet. I don't know. I just like to just talk about it. Let's see. Wayne Correll says, the scissors again? Yeah, I know. I just make sure that, ooh, Plum Smart Paul says, I split 4 cords of wood with that exact splitter. Best I've ever had. There we go. 4 cords. He knows what he's doing. That's a serious amount of wood splitting. Zach says, that is what I usually do. Put on a video and set it aside while I cook food. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. These are the kind of videos that I like to do when I'm cooking, which every day I cook from scratch. So if you guys are watching my cooking videos, which hopefully you are, because eating it is just as important as growing it. And so the cooking videos, I cook, you know, every day. And I also like do tedious things like planting and all this. So I often listen to these kinds of videos, you know, long form videos, 1-hour, 2-hour videos and stuff, where you just put them on and you're kind of part of the experience. So if you guys are watching this after the fact, let me know in the comments when you kind of watch this stuff. Are you guys sitting there watching it on your screen, which is great? Or are you just like driving, or should you be working, or you're at work, or what? And let's see here. So, oh, somebody asked me the skull. Yes, on the right. It's pure silver. It was a gift from the emperor. No, I'm just kidding. This has a deep meaning to me at the time, though, and I will talk about it on the Thrive Like a Viking channel. But yes, this is just has a deep, profound meaning to me. Came to me at a really special, pivotal time in my life. And so it reminds me, yes. Do you know the saying, memento mori? You can look that up. And so, ooh, yeah, Jeremy Ransom says it's the skull of knowledge. That's a good, yeah, it is in so many ways, guys, it is the skull of knowledge. So, Jay says, I have it on my TV and my phone. All right, that's what I like to hear. Carlos Ornelas says, messing with my garden while I listen. That's really the ideal. That's the ideal way to do it. Elizabeth, hello, my friend, says, just made canned your tomato sauce, and it was awesome. All right, yes. That's great, guys. So the Wild Bill says, is that a Collins axe? No, it's not. This is a proper straight up maul, and it's the big one. Don't get the tiny little one. This is like a sledgehammer as well. So get this is a man's maul, or a very strong woman's maul. So what was the question? What was the question I was gonna ask? Oh, the tomatoes. So guys, I got a response, or I got a comment about the on the tomato video, which you should watch, the preserving the tomato video. And yes, I water bath tomato sauce, and I've never had an issue. But here's the thing: you have to do it you have to get it up to boiling, and then let it boil. I mean, at a rolling boil for a good 45 minutes. You know, even 40, I think on the video it was like 47 minutes or an hour even, okay? So someone was like, hey, my mom did the hot water method for 15 minutes. So now I'm a bit concerned. And I was like, yeah, I would not, 15 minutes is not gonna be enough, I don't think. Because for everything else, I use the pressure canner. But for tomatoes, I just use the hot water bath method, but it's never failed me. So it's good. Olabali says, I cook every day? Question mark. Yes, I'm Ron Burgundy. Yes, Wild Bill says, I swing an 8-pounder and was wondering who makes that one. An 8-pounder. This is a Fisker's brand, and it is definitely over 8. I'm thinking I'm gonna say like 12 maybe. I'm not really sure, but yeah. And this is the kind, guys, I've missed the wood before, you know, I've missed the wood, and just full force, 100% right on to the neck of this tiny little thing, and perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And there's core shock technology or whatever, and it didn't like destroy my hands either, where some of my wooden ones have. So they call that splitter the wrist breaker. Yeah, not this one. Not this one. So In the Woods says he put a link in the description and I looked it up. Yes, exactly. Let's see here. Bar says wetting agent and going into mid-flower now in California. Caterpillars are here. How deep into flower can I continue spraying? Ooh, yeah. Okay, so it's let's see. I'm trying to remember the time frames of everything, but if you're doing outdoor, I would imagine, then yeah, they're going to be. It's going to be a little bit too late. Once the flowers start to develop, then it's gonna be in there. You know what I mean? And you risk having it, the smell. You risk having the flavor, the odor, the smell, all of that. Even though it breaks down, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough. So you want to have it under control before that time comes in. But if it's emergency measures, if it's either you lose the crop or you spray, then, you know, probably spray, I guess. I mean, but yeah. Once they start to form, I don't like to put anything on there because you're spraying it on there and it's not going to get rain. I mean, hopefully it's not going to get rain. Otherwise your stuff's going to mold, but it's tricky. It's tricky. Let's see. Anthony Luce says, hey, from Slickford, Kentucky. No thunderstorms. Got internet. Yay. All right. Let's see here. And Wayne Carulli says, man, you are getting good at scanning the chat. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's an art form. But Mick says, don't forget to add lime if you are at altitude. Oh, add thyme if you're at altitude. Yes, yes. Well, yes, and he would know. He's a mile high. So if you're at altitude, if you're in Denver or someplace like that, I would pressure can them. I would just pressure can them at 15 pounds, just to make sure, you know. So I'm gonna be coming out with a pressure canning video. So you guys will see the pressure canner I use, the All American. It is just fantastic. I will put links in the descriptions to the exact one. And Anthony says, how do you get Tahitian squash to produce more fruit? Just one per plant. Something is wrong. Because guys, who of you are growing, let's let Anthony know how many Tahitian melon squash your plants have produced. Because one of them should produce pretty much more than a family of 4 could eat for a whole winter. So if you get, I mean, you should get 5, 7, 10 Tahitian squash per vine if it's grown right. If it doesn't have the right sun, if it doesn't have the right nutrients, if it doesn't have the right stuff, then it's not going to produce. So I'm gonna say it's probably a nutrient problem or a sunlight problem. Do you have full sun? Most people want to try and grow stuff in the woods and with not enough sun. RK says we got about 5 per vine. Okay, good. Therese, yes, come on. Garden Like a Viking Tribe, 180 watchers and only 12 thumbs up. See, everyone sees it differently though. But thank you very much, my friend. So I'm seeing 180 viewers and 81 thumbs up. But yeah, it's on my Thrive Like a Viking channel where we do a live Q&A every Monday at 10:30. That is pretty much on par. There's 49 viewers and 49 thumbs up, which is a great ratio. But, you know, thumbs up if you want. If not, then, you know, it is what it is, my friends. So, my Mick says, my Tahitians didn't fruit. Not sure why. Everything around it fruited. I think it was too little sun. Yeah, it can be. It can be because remember, the plants, especially squash plants, are solar powered. I mean, all of them are, but the squash plants are going to be solar powered in particular. So in order for them to produce, when I did everything right at the Temple Garden, these Tahitian melon squash were about this big around and like this long, like 30 pounds, just huge. And for it to produce like 7 of those takes a lot of energy and a lot of nutrients. So DNT, $10. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, remember, this body will fall, so thrive while you're able. This is a very true and wise saying. Thank you very much, my friend. Remember, this body will fall. So thrive while you're able. Absolutely. Yes, and that, I think you might be talking about the Memento Mori, because that is a philosophy that had a deeply profound impact on me back in the day. And it's something I carry with me all the time, of course. And if you guys want to talk more about things like this, spiritual, subconscious mind, you know, sort of taking control of your thoughts and all of this, the Thrive Like a Viking channel is fantastic. So go ahead and check it out. Jason Mann, $2. Is this Australian dollars? Are you in Oz, the land of Oz? Thank you very much. Says Okinawa diet. I am not fully aware of what the Okinawa diet is. I could infer what it probably is, based upon what I know of the culture, and that would be lots of stir-fried vegetables, lots of fermented foods, rice, lots of seafood, and things like this, but things in their natural state. Guys, I stir-fry all the time. I'm gonna make a stir-fry video, couple stir-fry videos. I've got an awesome wok that I've really enjoyed this past season. And I want you guys to, if you want to get the good one, then this is it. And anything I recommend to you guys, I thoroughly investigate. I only buy good quality stuff, only when it's necessary. I don't just frivolously buy junk at all anymore. I used to in the past, but now I know exactly what to look for. And so if I put my stamp on it, in my opinion, it's fantastic quality. for the price, you know. So the Douglas Neville, hello, my friend, says, good morning from Washington State, sir. Yes, good morning. How is that garden doing? Let's see. Creative Soil says, could you do a banana FFJ fermented fruit juice with equal parts brown sugar? Banana. So why would you do banana? Why would you do a banana FFJ? And I don't actually have a lot of experience with the FFJ. I have a lot of experience with FPJ, but it is not something. FFJ is more a tropical thing. If you are like on a pineapple farm or a lot of KNF stuff, guys, is really centered towards more the tropical regions and the temperate, you know, rainforest type, borderline equator type stuff. It's just different. It's just very different, you know, where they're growing all these fruits and stuff. Here, north of the you know, in the northern, even though this is like the south north, you know what I mean? This isn't the true north, but we are like considered the north in the United States, and we're not really growing much fruit here. I mean, there's apples and stuff, but so things are just done differently. That's why J Dom and then my other personal practices are sort of more for here, the cold places where it gets cold. You know, because if you watch a lot of the guys with the KNF, they're like in Hawaii or in Costa Rica or in South America or someplace where it's like just bursting with life and there's just all these tropical toucans and there's all this kind of fruits. Every tree, oh, look at all this fruit. You know, and I lived in Thailand, you know, for some time. And I traveled extensively through Southeast Asia and India and all of this. And so I know what that's like, where it's just a totally different growing conditions and a different way of doing things. But here in the north, like where there's real winters and everything dies and stuff over the winter time, you're not growing anything over the winter here. So it's things have to be done different. They just do. So Malcolm Stark, ZAR 70. What is that? Oh, what currency is that, my friend? ZAR. That sounds cool. A good way to live. A good way to live is never entertain your ego at the expense of your soul. Very good, man. We got some wise comments today. Thank you very much. A good way to live is never entertain your ego at the expense of your soul. And so Big Wes, what's up, my friend? Yes, he's saying Canadian flag because he's in the true north. That is the true north. This is sort of the fake north. Let's see here. And Maggie Smith says, easier to grow than to process everything. So yeah, you're probably talking about, and that's what people are running into. And that's what, of course, I ran into, you know, back in the day. And a lot of people run into, they love the art of growing, the aspect of growing. But then when it comes time to like harvest, and then when it comes time to cook everything, they're like, because now is like the time in the season where everyone's kind of over the garden. You know, not everyone, not you guys, but a lot of people are kind of over it. You know, their stuff's all just weeds now, and they got to harvest maybe a few tomatoes or something, and they just kind of just give up on it. You know, but no, for those of us that understand the game and know what we're doing, then and we have the fire within us, the drive. Then now is the time, crucial time. Now is what it's all about, guys, because now is when you're putting stuff up for winter. Now, these, for example, the fermented tomatoes, guys, you need to be fermenting the tomatoes. Watch the video I made last year. I was going to make another one because, like, I don't know, the algorithm doesn't push old videos anymore for some reason. But I can't just make another one of the exact same thing. You know, literally the exact same thing, because this is the way to do it. Ferment these tomatoes. They last all winter sitting out on the shelf. Guys, it's crazy. These are one of the few things that require zero refrigeration. You can put them in the refrigerator if you want to make sure, or if your, you know, house is too warm. But guys, these things are so delicious. And the reason that they're kind of floating right now is because I ran out of the I ran out of little weights, you know? So if you have seen me before talking about fermentation weights, you saw the ones that I have that I said were a total joke, because the way to pull them out is what do you call that? It's tapered, and it's tiny little glass thing, and I literally cannot get them out of the I can't get them out of the jar. You can't even pull on them because they're just, there's nothing to grip onto. They're so frustrating. They are garbage. But yet everyone's like getting them. I don't understand why. But I finally found these ones, guys. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That you can easily get out of the jar. The other one is shaped like this, an arrow pointing upwards, and it's just slick glass. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So these ones, I finally found these ones, have got, I mean, this is perfect. This is easy. So now I'm going to be adding these things in there. So I put a link in the description. I know it sounds like I'm some kind of salesman, but this is all just the stuff I'm using, and I think it's good stuff. So you get 9 of them for like 20 bucks or something. So I put a link in the description. 9 of them is quite a bit. So you can do 9 half-gallons of fermented tomatoes with this amount of weights. And it just makes sure that everything stays submerged, because the stuff that's not submerged, guys, will rot. You will have issues. If you just make this, do you see how they all want to float? Look at that. See all that space at the bottom? They all want to float because they're becoming effervescent, because the byproduct of the microbial activity is carbon dioxide, CO2, a gas. And so it makes them float. And you'll see the bubbles coming up and stuff, but they become kind of effervescent. So we want to use these weights. I mean, there's other ways. You can use stones and stuff like that, yeah, but this streamlines the whole thing. You know, if you've got the $22 or whatever, I would just get these, okay? And so, yeah, there's a link in the description of this video right now. And so you put these on top, and it just keeps everything under the brine. And so long as it's under the brine, there's nothing to worry about. But once it starts floating above the brine, it's gonna spoil. And that's not good. Oh, yeah. It's getting fermented. It's getting that. Oh, man, guys. Fall and winter time is just such a great time. Everything, the harvest is coming in. You know, the weather's cooling off finally. The tomatoes are fermenting. You know, getting that sourness. The potatoes are coming in. We'll talk about these in a minute. And you know, winter's coming, and now that we've got the sauna tent and the cold plunge and all this kind of stuff, and we've got the microgreens and the wheatgrass that we do, so you don't have to worry about, oh no, the cold, dark, lonely winter where we can't grow anything. No, guys, we're growing all winter long, just inside. We're growing microgreens, all different kinds. We're growing mushrooms. I'm going to be doing another video on mushrooms this year. And we're growing, look here, look. This is the beginning of the wheatgrass. I'm growing this for a friend, and here's what I have found, guys. This is about, it's going to get about 3 inches taller than this. But what I found is that let me say it right, the soft white winter wheat berries, tongue twister, soft white winter wheat berries produce a far superior wheatgrass than the hard red winter wheat berries. Yes, the soft white winter wheat is more thick and luscious and produces more juice. And the hard red ones, not so much. So see, we'll be doing this kind of stuff all winter long. And these awesome trays right here, these aren't just regular tomato trays, guys. These are there's links in the description again, but these are the last trays I'll ever buy. They're like 5 times sturdier, 10 times sturdier than those flimsy little tomato trays you get from the store. So I put a link in the description. You can get them. Get equal amounts with holes and without holes, because look, here's how we do it. See, this one has holes in it. Look at all them roots. You see them roots are reaching down? And then this other one doesn't have holes in it. And so here's the trick, guys, for the microgreens, and we'll go through this all winter long. But most people have mold. In their wheatgrass, they get mold in their microgreens and all that. But if you water this way, only from the bottom, you just pour a liter of water into the bottom and then put the trays together, then it doesn't mold because the surface doesn't really get wet. Just the underneath, the roots get wet like that. So little tricks like that, guys, make all the difference in the world. And if you want to talk about chlorophyll, I mean, if you want to talk about captured sunlight, oh my goodness. Wheatgrass, there's nothing finer. It is so powerful. The cleansing effect of the chlorophyll is just without compare. So yeah, we'll be doing that kind of stuff all winter. So you don't need to worry about not growing anything, okay? Julie Ann Scott says, I lost every jar of my fermented tomatoes, followed your directions to the T. In 5 weeks, poured them out and threw them away. Had pucks in some of them, but took them out after 3 weeks. What happened? If you followed the instructions to the T, my friend, I'm not sure what had happened. Now, here's one thing. You might have thought that they went bad. You might have thought that they went bad, and they didn't. They'll turn mushy, a little bit mushy, and they'll turn... Now, what makes you think they went bad? That's the thing. I'm thinking they probably didn't go bad. Did you use a starter? Did you use a starter? Let me know. I think I saw a Jack Scoville, $2. Is selenium in leaf mold? What is the best source? Selenium, yeah, you will not need to worry about that for the most part. If you're using any kind of leaf mold or kind of compost and stuff like that, or even if you have soil that is got clay in it and stuff, there will be enough selenium there. Unless you're growing indoors, then it changes everything. But selenium, so long as you have the microorganisms to unlock the selenium, then you don't need to worry about it, in my opinion. Let's see here. There was a, yes, Naturally by Darla, 20 bucks. Thank you very much, my friend. Let's see here. I can't see. Is there a question there? I can't see it. It's like over, whoops. Is there a question with that? I can't tell. It's like got all the questions linked together. But thank you very much for the 20. Naturally by Darla. If you had a question with that, then do it again and I will see it. Rachel Rebel says, that's a fun name to say, says, fermented tomatoes sound delicious. I just canned a huge batch of my garden tomatoes into marinara sauce for the winter. Oh yeah. Guys, and guess what? I've expanded this into some huge 2.5 gallon things. So we will see if that works. I'm sure it will. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's the exact same recipe, just expanded. But I've typically only done them in this. So, but guys, I eat them with canned sardines over the winter time sometimes, and all different kinds of good stuff. So yes, they are fantastic. Let us see here. And there was a, let's see, Leslie Goldstein, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate the tip. Julianne says, made me sick to lose my fermented tomatoes. Fluid came out around the tops. Yes, that happens. That happens. See, I don't think you lost them. I think you lost them. Unless you see a funky kind of mold, then no, it's the fermentation process. They effervesce and they flow over, and there's a white, fluffy white yeast bloom on them a lot of times. All different kinds of stuff. I've never lost a batch of tomatoes. So I really think, you didn't lose them. That you jumped the gun a little bit, is what I think. Unless you saw some kind of gnarly mold, gray, fuzzy mold, something like that. Ooh, Julianne says, no starter, just the salt method. Okay, well, you definitely want to use a starter. You definitely want to use the labs. The lactic acid bacteria serum, you want to use that for sure. So I've never done it with just the salt, actually. So I always use the labs. Pretty much in everything that I ferment, except sauerkraut, I will use the labs. Because it just guarantees that, you know. And let's see here. Rachel says, last year I made a round of fermented habaneros and ghost peppers and made them into hot sauce. Best hot sauce I have tried. Highly recommend trying it out if you haven't. Yes, guys. I did the same with a Tabasco plant last year. And as many of you saw, like I was showing you them fermenting and stuff, I fermented them all year or for like all winter for like 5 months. And then processed them, mixed it with equal parts of the vinegar and a bunch of salt after they were fermented. And I tried it like right away, and it was sickening. It was absolutely disgusting, inedible, bitter, and flaming, burning hot. It was just terrible. And so I was like, oh man, what a waste. What a huge waste of this whole Tabasco fermented thing. But then, so I just tucked it away. And I was like, well, whatever. I'll give it to somebody that, I'll just give it to somebody that claims they like hot stuff. So I put it into the fridge. And then about 3 months later, I got it out and tried it and was like, oh my goodness, it totally transformed. Now, this is how it happened. Actually, I gave some to my stepdad. He was like, yeah, I've been using Tabasco sauce. That's how it happened. He was like, I've been using Tabasco sauce on my tuna and stuff when I eat it in the morning. And I was like, oh yeah? Well, I've got some Tabasco sauce you could try. Thinking in my mind, it's going to blow his face off with the spice and all that and the bitterness. So I gave him some, and he was like, man, that Tabasco sauce you made was incredible. That was super good and flavorful and rich. And I was like, what? And in my mind, I was thinking, are you talking about the same thing? But then, so I went into the fridge and I was like, let me get this stuff out. And so I tried some and it was like, oh my goodness. Guys, it was that 3-month period of, I don't know what, resting after blending it up that totally changed everything. I mean, it tastes like actual Tabasco sauce, except in my opinion, better because I fermented it with some smoked garlic from the grill as well. So that's the thing, guys. If you make these hot sauces, in my experience, and the poblano hot sauce and stuff, you have to let it ferment. You have to let it rest. Something happens. Spreading Ideas says, please, what is your opinion about new GMO mosquitoes? Are we doomed? Well, I don't know anything about GMO mosquitoes, but I can tell you with absolute confidence that we are not doomed. We are never doomed because we have the spirit within us that can survive, can thrive, and adapt. And that's what the human being does. We are marvels of adaptation, my friends. So you just have to detoxify yourself, detoxify your body, detoxify your mind, detoxify your thoughts, purify everything, and then you will learn to thrive. And so you won't fear any of the doom and gloom and all of this. Gates, mozzies, okay, Gates mosquitoes and stuff. Then whatever, bring it, whatever. If there's GMO mosquitoes that are out, then just the thing to do is to purify your life and all of this, and you won't have any fear about any of this. So that would be my recommendation. Now, because if there are GMO mosquitoes with some kind of thing, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to board up your whole house and all of that? And no. So you just do everything to thrive on a day-to-day basis. And that's the best way to stick it to the man, is to thrive and to be happy and to be healthy, to be strong and to be confident in your own body and in your own mind and in your actions. That is the best way to stick it to the man. And if every one of us do that, then collectively everyone's doing it. So this is my opinion on stuff like that. But let us see. Aviator Dave says, get a bat house to control mosquitoes. Absolutely, guys. When we get the land, that will be like the first thing we do is establish huge bat houses, because I would like to have a whole colony of bats. Muddy Paws, juicer recommendation. Definitely I got a juicer recommendation, but I don't remember the name of it. And I'll put a link in the description of the videos from now on. But it's fantastic. I got one for my mom. My brother got one. I've got one. It's not cheap, but it's really good. So, Creative Soil says, I lab fermented quail eggs this morning. What does that entail? In the shell or peeled? cooked or what? So, whoops. Wait a second. I can't really figure out, I can't really figure out what is going on here. Because I pressed something and now everything is trying to give me a filter. Okay, here we go. Jerry, hello my friend, says looking for tips to know when the winter squash is ready for cooking, not necessarily storing them. Okay, what winter squash is it? Is it the, which ones did you choose? Did you do some Tahitian squash or was it the delicata? Because the delicata is going to be totally different, and the spaghetti squash is going to be totally different. You know, so what kind of squash is it? S. John says, absolutely love the cooking videos. Can you do one for the fermented hot sauce too? Yes. Yes, this year I will do one for the fermented hot sauce. Because that was my plan all last year. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to ferment this. I'm going to make a good video and stuff, and people are going to like it. And then I tried it right away and was like, oh God. It was just like, forget it. Just forget it. You know, and but then, thankfully, 3 months later, it turned out to be phenomenal. Let's see. RJ says, green lines fade. Are you prepping? Says, hi everyone. Hit that thumbs up, please. Yes, thank you. TC, I'm building birdhouses to put on the posts around the garden to keep the bugs out. Yes, that should help, definitely. So long as the birds don't start destroying your stuff. So long as you want to build swallows. You want to build those, like if you drive out in the Amish, in the country and stuff, they have those big multi-bird duplex, triplex, you know, condominium things. So like 20 birds can live in there. Those are the ones you want because they swoop around and eat all the stuff instead of eating your plants. And if they're like blackbirds or any of those kind of things, man, they will just destroy your stuff. And so Outside in Georgia says, when will you do the video on lion's mane mushrooms in buckets? Yes, that will be coming before long. That will be coming. Once another month, give or take, you know, until this season is sort of starting to come to an end. Because then once we build them, they will fruit all winter long. And this is the thing. Yeah. Okay, Jerry says delicata, butternut, and spaghetti. Now, delicata and butternut, delicata and spaghetti, I don't have a good way to tell. Because I've not been that into growing them because they don't store very well. So the butternut, though, you can, you just kind of, as far as eating, you don't have to wait until the whole thing dies, but you want to wait till that color transformation starts to happen. And that's when the skin goes from being like a light lime sort of pale green to a like this color of my skin here. That's kind of the color that it will be when it is ready to eat. Yes. Arlegato, purple martin house. That's right. Good job. That's right. There's some kind of swallow, aren't they? I mean, that kind of thing. Tim Davis says, when should we do the slash and burn method for the no-till garden in zone 7A? Well, that depends what you want to do. So you've got multiple options here. So you can either burn now, slash and burn now, and then plant a cover crop. Or you could slash and burn at any time and add fertility in the form of manures or leaf mold or pile more leaves on top. But if you're talking about following the video that I made exactly of the one where we burn the leaves, the deciduous leaves in the shape of the garden bed, so it destroys all of the grass and all the weeds and stuff. And then we just put more leaves on top of that. That is, you can do that, you know, when the leaves start to fall any time. But if you're going to do a cover crop, it's best to get on it sooner than later. Do like crimson clover. If you're in 7A, I would burn the plot and then plant crimson clover several days later when everything is cool. and it's going to grow really well. And then in the springtime, you can terminate. Yes. Let's see here. Mr. Tablet Man says, how do you amend your soil for pots and containers? You want to, the way I do it is you want to take the soil out, unless they're like big pots. What size pots are you talking about? If they're small pots, 10-gallon pots, even 20-gallon pots is still kind of small, then you want to take the soil out, add the stuff, manures or the compost, or if you're using dry amendments, the Viking granular nutrients. Well, that actually you want to do a bit differently. That you can do in each pot. But if you're adding dry amendments and stuff, and then you want to let it cook for a little bit, mix it all together, and then put it back into the pots. This is important. A lot of people want to try and add fertility into their little pots when there's just not the mass, and it doesn't get mixed in there good. I've not ever had good results with that. You will get the best results when you take the soil out, amend it real well with the whatever it is that you want to amend it with, and then put it back in to each pot. And then that way you don't have like differences between all the pots and stuff like that, so you can tell your system. Let's see here. And Manpreet Kaur says, hi, how do I amend garden soil and shade-loving plants for winter? My south side house got shade all winter. Thank you. Let's see. Well, man, that's so how do you amend? I would amend it in the same way, guys. I would amend it the same way that we're doing anything else. But it sounds like you live in a very warm place. Where do you live? So you can just add the fertility. I mean, it's a lot different than it is here in the north more, where you have a season that you don't grow anything at all. And stuff takes a long time to break down here. So yours will be a little bit different. You can add, but still the fundamentals are the same. Feed the life in the soil, it will feed you. And so add the stuff, now. Doug, $10. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, I went to the local forest to get leaf mold last week, and everything was powdery dry. I even ventured to lower areas and dried there too. Drought here every summer in rain shadow of ONP. What is ONP? National Park? Some kind of national park? Yes, that will be okay because the microbes in that area, so the leaf mold that you're going to be getting is going to be underneath. So if there's leaves and stuff, you just scoop it aside and you get, even if it's kind of powdery dry, the microbes are adapted to that. I know. And it will just sort of remain. And so when you start to feed it again, then it's going to be okay. So try to find some stuff that's moist, but if because I remember I lived in Northern California there, and when the rain stopped, that was it. It didn't rain again for 6 months. Everything got brown, everything gets bone dry, except like deep in the redwoods, it was always moist. But so the leaf mold, you can still gather it because that's why we have to use indigenous local microorganisms, because without that, if I was going to send you a microbial brew from northern Indiana, these microbes are not adapted in the same way to go that 6-month drought period or that 6-month rain period. You know what I mean? So that's why you want to have the local microbes. It's not going to matter that much that it's not wet, Doug. So. And let's see here. Manpreet, I live in North Carolina. Oh, 9A. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be, 9A, yeah. You can add the fertility now, of course, in the form of manures is what I would say. Brian says, Audiophiliac channel has a viewer system of the day. It would be cool to see everyone's garden. Yeah, how would we do that? That would be awesome. If you guys wanted to send me, definitely on Instagram, you can do that. Tag me, use the hashtag garden like a Viking. And I will be able to see it. Although I took like a 2-week break from Instagram just because, just to sort of catch my breath, and stuff like that. Because Instagram is just very different than the other stuff. And you know what? Instagram doesn't pay. That's something that I didn't realize until not all that long ago. Is that so? And I'm like, well, what is everybody all about Instagram then for? I mean, if it's not paying, I'm kind of missing the point now here. Although I use it for communication with you guys, for learning, myself, and then spreading the knowledge, of course, building the tribe, building the community. But I'm still just like, what is the drive if people aren't getting paid? I understand that they're getting paid based upon sponsorships. That's the main thing. But yeah, it's just different. It's just very different. So Aviator Dave says, Nate, have you looked into doing Zoom calls so we can share computer screens? I do Zoom consultations with people all the time. Multiple times a week, I'm doing one-on-one Zoom consultations with people. If you so desire, we can do that. Let's see here. Tigress Mass says, hey, Nate, just FYI, I figured out how to make labs in pellet form to store it. I will have to tell you later. Maybe this fall. Take care. Dietrich. Oh, okay. Yes. We're due for another call. That would be very interesting to see what kind of pellet form you're talking about, because nothing that I'm aware of would allow for that. So we will have to see. Big Will Dog says, Nate, when should I pull my potted strawberry plants to fertilize the soil? Before winter or in the spring? Let's see. When should I pull my potted strawberry plants to fertilize the soil? Well, I wouldn't pull them out of the pot, actually, if that's what you're talking about. If you've got plants in the ground, if they're in the pots already, then I would just top dress. You just top dress. And top dress with compost or manure or leaf mold, but leaf mold is not going to have enough of the nutrients, so like the Viking granular nutrients, which is 17 different dry amendments, including bone meal, blood meal, feather meal, all these good things. That is good to top dress with, but just manures would work as well if you get a good source of it. I'm just kind of getting over the manures in many ways, because it's a rampant grazon use just everywhere you go. Is just and it's so detrimental. I think I might have even got some chicken manure that had it's just because of the bedding that they use. It's just real. I don't want to have to question it anymore. So manures are getting. It's just unbelievable how they're taking the most ancient of the fertilizer sources and turning it into poison. I mean, that's exactly, it almost seems deliberate in making these chemicals. They know that they're making these chemicals persistent. They know exactly. I mean, these are scientists, engineers in laboratories making chemicals like Grazon that they know is going to go through the animal's digestive system and remain persistent in the manure. Oh, well, it's just a byproduct. Sorry, guys. Yeah, well, looks like you can't use the manure anymore. Looks like you got to buy our manure or buy our fertilizer instead. Yeah, that seems like a very insidious business model, my friends, that is really not going to work for the future. That's not going to work, okay? Because the fertilizer that they're selling is destroying the land. It's like opium for the plants. And so we just have to be very aware of this, guys, because if you bring in some of this manure that has the Grazon in it, it was designed to destroy your garden. And so it will. And it remains persistent for years. And you'll not really know what the problem is. You'll not really know why your stuff isn't growing that well. You won't really know why your plants get to a certain size and just kind of wilt and they're just kind of yellow. And so you won't know why, but it's that a little bit of persistent Grazon. And so there is nothing anyone could tell me to convince me that that's not done on purpose. I mean, how could it be? I mean, we're talking world-class scientists and engineers with unlimited financial budgets, unlimited, for research and development and all of that stuff. The industrial ag chemists, these are chemists. And you can't tell me that, well, we just can't make it so that it breaks down immediately. Yeah. Go ahead and use the manure in your garden. No, man. It's not funny. I mean, I'm trying to make light of it and stuff, but it's not funny at all, actually. So we just have to find ways around it. That's the thing. We just find ways around it. Let's see here. Mick, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, is your granular fertilizer ready for sale yet? It is not. It is not because of the logistics of trying to sell it. You know, it's as far as the processing and the bucketing and all of that stuff. So this whole season, I had so many different garden plots to make sure that it was the bomb formula, and it is. So it's just like it was in Northern California when I was using it for those plants. I just tweaked it a little bit to be for the garden. And so it's the type that builds on itself. It's got a lot of minerals in it. So once you start using it, it builds upon itself. And so it just enriches for I'm making it with the purpose of that's the only thing you need to use is that and water. Aerated compost teas would also help, of course, but you don't even have to do that. So, but Mick, maybe we can do a 5-gallon bucket, you know, if you're interested at some point. We could do a specialty 5-gallon bucket. I could send you one, possibly, if you're into that. So, but thank you for the 20. And Brother Beans says, wait, what is this stuff called? I'm calling it the Viking granular nutrients, because here in it'll be a couple of years before I can really be like, okay, guys, link in the description. If you want it, here it is. The whole reason I'm developing it is because there's like certain sets of people. There's the set of people that want to garden and grow food as cheaply as possible. And that's perfectly fine. That was me for a long time. And so for those people, all the videos about making your own fertilizers, brewing your own stuff, all that, it's all there. You can do it. You know, the book will have all that information, how to make it all yourself. But then there's a whole other set of people that have a bit of money, but they don't have that much time, or they just don't want to mess with making all the fertilizer, the smell, and they have to acquire the manures and all that stuff. They'd rather just buy a bucket of dry granular fertilizer. And because I've got so many questions about that kind of stuff. And I don't believe in any of them on the market. Honestly, I don't believe none of them are good enough. And so I make my own. And so that's what that's going to be for, you know? If you want to make your own stuff for free, I've already made 100 videos about it. But if you just don't want to mess with any of that, then here's the Viking granular nutrients. And so, yeah, but it's focused around minerals, the stuff that manures and stuff doesn't really have. I mean, there's so many minerals in it and all of that. So it's really good. Mick says, I like making everything, but with a family and a full-time job, I need something as a fallback when time is short. Absolutely. And if you use this stuff, then it's like, okay, you add that to the soil and you're set. You will, if you do it in the proper ratios, then all you need to use is water. And anything else will just be additional. We'll be like, okay, if you want to add some aerated compost tea, if you want to add some fish fertilizer, great, it's going to help. But you don't have to because everything's already there. That's what we did at my mom's garden. Well, several of these gardens I've done this year with just the Viking granular nutrients and water. That's it. And they've thrived, absolutely thrived. My mom's has been just crazy. So, yeah. Jason Mann, $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, thank you, Nate. Please continue this channel. It is valuable. Best wishes, Jason from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you, my friend. And you can count on it because this is what we do now. And in fact, this is just the beginning of the whole garden like a Viking, thrive like a Viking thing, okay? So there will come a time when this channel will be much bigger. There will be a actual school, land where people can come and learn these techniques in person. And there will be film, you know, I'll take you guys along that whole way and stuff. And yeah, so many of these things are on the horizon for us. And so you guys can come along with all that and be a part of it, of course. So Rachel says, we reuse our chicken manure on top of fresh planted garlic in November. Healthy big bulbs when it comes to harvest time. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I do too. It's a very good way. Muddy Paw says, we grow our own hay, 67 acres. 67 acres for our Black Angus beef. That hay goes to our cows, chickens, and then the garden. Working on using JDOM to grow healthier and safer product for the whole cycle. Absolutely. So you got 67 acres of hay, is that? Then, yeah, that manure is going to be some fantastic stuff. You can utilize that stuff for sure because you know what is in it. And that is really good manure. So you can make, if you have the ability to spray those, you can make this stuff on big batches, and you can spray. You can make the manure teas, you can make the microbial solutions, and spray it back onto the crops, back onto the hay, if you need to, if you need additional fertilization of all of that. But yeah, that's very good. Nita says, hi Nate, it would be great if you could make a video on your mom's yard so we could see all of your hard work. Thank you, my friend. And yes, I should have done that this year, but I was doing Instagram story updates of it. I showed it several times on the Instagram stories, but I haven't made an actual video of it. But I'll use the footage probably to show a video next year. So my mom's garden is everyone that sees it loves it because it is like this, guys. If you watch my video Grass to Garden in one day, then you'll see me creating it. And it was one of my first videos last year. And we put down the landscaping fabric. We got 150-gallon grow bags, the good ones. And but don't get the junk ones. You have to get the good ones. 150-gallon grow bags, and then we filled them with the soil and stuff, and then the only thing that we added was the Viking nutrients. And we set a sprinkler. I mounted a sprinkler into the center of it on a timer so that it comes on every night for 40 minutes or maybe 20 minutes, I think it is. And it gets, so they don't have to think about it. So it's on a timer every night, 20, it might be 40 minutes, because the bags will dry out. So it sprinkles everything. And then I took T-posts and pounded and made a fence with the deer fencing all the way around it. And so made a little doorway and stuff. So it's really ideal. And you don't have to use the native soil. You don't have to, so if you got rocky soil or tree roots all over the place like we do there, then you can just use these bags. And things grow so well because you can't overwater. It doesn't matter how much you water, the bags drain and they aerate. And it's just fantastic. So yeah, that worked out good. Malcolm Stark, another tip. Thank you, Czar70. What is that currency again? I forget. Says, what are you planning to do when the Grand Solar Minimum event hits us in full? You know what we'll do? We will adjust and adapt. That's exactly what we'll do. And we'll continue to thrive. Because the Grand Solar Minimum, I'm not an expert on that. I just know what I hear from like Adapt 2030 channel and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not afraid of it whatsoever because the plants are going to grow no matter what. So if there's less intense of sun and cooler temperatures, then that's not a problem. We can adjust and adapt. We'll be growing potatoes. The earth grows food. That's what it does. That's what this life support system does. And so I'm not the slightest bit concerned about the Grand Solar Minimum or Maximum or whatever it is, or the changing temperatures and stuff like that. I'm just not concerned about that because we are resilient to the maximum. It's the spirit that matters. And so you have to practice these skills of growing your food, of anti-fragility training so that your emotional and spiritual resilience is off the charts. And once all of that happens, it doesn't really matter. Nothing else really matters because you know that you can adapt. Whatever it is, I will take it in stride as it comes. And this is, and I know this is true. This is not just me saying this, trying to convince myself. I know I can do this because I've tested myself over the years. And the resilience training is what it is. Growing food is a part of it, is a foundation, a fundamental foundational part of it. Because what you put in your body determines your experience. So that is, that's my thoughts on that. And yeah, see, if you guys like that kind of talk, that's what we do on Thrive Like a Viking channel. We break it down in that kind of, and then I give you guys exercises, or tell you things I've done in my life that produce that kind of experience. The practices. Like this week, we're going to talk about a good anti-fragility training, which is cold therapy. Just a mild introduction to the cold training. Let's see. DLR says, ain't nothing going to break my stride. That's right, my friend. You just take it in stride. You just take it in stride. Because what is worrying? What is worrying, really? It is imagining something that has not happened yet. And because it has not happened yet, it's not happening now, you can't take action. You cannot take action about something that has not happened yet. And so right away, you feel anxiety because you're out of your power. Because you can't take action over it. So worrying about the grand solar minimum or the collapse of society or World War III or food shortages or any of this kind of stuff, worrying about that, you're automatically setting yourself up for anxiety and distress because you have no power over the future because it's not happening, so you can't take action. But you can only take action in the now. When you learn to live more present, you will see that the future only comes as the now. And by living present, then you can take action. So you're fully in your power. Whatever comes, you will remain present and take action based upon your training and your state of mind. And like that, you can handle anything that comes to you. You really can. And then you see that it's not, even when it does happen, even when it does come to you, it is not nearly as bad as the mind projected worrying, oh, the food shortages and the collapse of society and all this. Yeah. Okay, that might be happening. But when it comes as the now, it will not be nearly as bad. And you will be able to overcome it. This is true. So... Aviator Dave says, Nate, did you ever make it to China in your travels? I was only there for 3 days. Yeah, it was pretty incredible. But so basically no. Technically yes, but basically no. Scarecrow Valley says, the jar is never empty until you no longer fill it. Yes, my friend. Sharni says, planting disease-resistant food. That's a good idea as well. Yes, definitely. But the food, just like the human body, the plants, when they have everything that they need, like in the form, like this year, like my garden is a perfect example, an analogy. When they have everything that they need, then they can pretty much defend themselves against diseases and pests for the most part. And even resilience, things about like drought and stuff like that. And so they can defend themselves because they have everything nature intended them to have. So they got their power, their force. But if they don't have everything that they need, then they can easily get sick. If they don't have the minerals and the life force and the food that they need, the plants, then they can get sick. They're susceptible to diseases and pest infestations. The human body is the same way. So if you have everything that you need, eating a diet as close to its natural state as possible, full of nutrient-rich foods that you're growing yourself, then you're going to be resilient and resistant to most diseases, to most viruses, to most whatever it is. You're going to be able to defend yourself. The body is a marvel of thriving. So, Aviator Dave says, how about Japan? You're invited to my home in northern Tokyo if I'm there. Oh, man. I will take you up on that someday, my friend. I will take you up on that. No, I traveled extensively for 10 years, actually. And then in the part of the year, I was living in Northern California doing the growing thing. And then the other 6 months, I was traveling. And so I got to travel a lot. But the desire to travel, that fire that brought me out to want to explore the world and to see new experiences and to find out how other people are living and to just see. There was just so much I didn't know. But that fire that brought me out there, it has changed. It is transmuted now. It's still there. The fire's still there, of course, but it is now, I want to build the homestead, the school, you know, to this channel, this all of this kind of, it's more all of that. So I literally have no desire to travel anymore, which is bizarre that I'm even saying any of that. But it's because I've been there and I've done it, and so it's sort of just shifted, you know? And so now I'm just full force into writing this gardening book, getting the means to get the land and getting the tribe together, getting all that stuff. That's what we're doing now. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Get it, says Nate. The late tomatoes are green and have a sunburn. Oh yeah, it happens. And I'm not sure exactly what causes that. But yeah, some of my tomatoes I think they just kind of abort because it's getting dry, and they're just kind of life forces out of the plant. And so yeah, it's I've got some of those as well. The green tomatoes that just turn white, that's sunburn, yeah. Ooh, Cecilia Brown. Okay, she got the memo. So she says, I'm in Ocala, Florida. So she said where she's from. She says, I'm getting ready to start my fall garden directly into the ground. I often listen to your channel while I'm cutting the grass and working in my garden. Wonderful. This is what I'm talking about. If you guys are watching this after the fact, say exactly that. She said where she's at, what she's planting, where she listens to this at. That's nice. I like that. Let's see. Big Will Dog says, I'm an Air Force vet with chronic pain from a service-connected disability. Gardening, composting, and learning helps keep my mind busy. Oh, absolutely. And it's very therapeutic and good for the body. Grandma Zoo says, anxiety is destroying me. Trying hard here to slay the beast. Food foresting like crazy. Caring for old animals. Hard to say goodbye to one of my old horses. Oh, had to say goodbye to one of my old horses last night. Feel beat down. Yes, my heart is with you, my friend. My heart is with you. Be sure to join us on Monday so we can talk a bit more in depth about these kind of things. But yeah, let us send Grandma Zoo, Pick It, Eat It, some positive energy because she's feeling a little bit down right now. But there is infinite amount of high vibrational energy to go around. So here is some, my friend. Busy girl, the more you learn and garden helps with solving garden problems. Sharing information helps. Nate has great advice. Thank you very much. And this is exactly true. It does. The more you learn, the more you practice, you know what works, what doesn't work. That's why it's so important to, even if you don't have a big space to grow, you got to learn these skills for the time when, if the time ever came when you had to expand. Yeah. So, the Urban Gardener, what's up, my friend? Says, care for your garden and it will care for you. Yes, this is correct. Guys, Urban Gardener's got a YouTube channel. I was on there one time. He does interviews with the gardening community. So you can check his channel out if you like. He's pretty much the only guy doing that kind of thing where he's interviewing gardening, people. So we want to support the people in our community. And PA says, hey guys, saying hi from Belgium. Belgium, I thought, wait. I thought you were in Portugal. Yes. And yes, guys. So let's see, a couple of more things. If you guys are looking for a good natural sweetener, I've been using Juggedy for years. This is a good brand too. It's a real good one. That maybe I'll put a link in the description. But you have to cover it in something and then break it with a hammer. But this is just unrefined. This is just, they take the sugar cane, they juice it, they extract the juice, and then they boil it until it becomes a solid. That's it. So it's totally unrefined. It's got all the molasses in there. It's got all the sugar as well, but it's not super sweet like you would think, but it is definitely I use this for stir fries when you're making the sauce for stir fries, a little bit of tamari, a little bit of this, a little bit of Shaoxing, the cooking wine. So guys, once I start, so I'm showing you this because once I start showing you some of the stir fry recipes, we'll be using this stuff. It's so good. Yeah. But don't forget those fermentation weights, okay? Oh, let me show you something real quick that I got. Let me show you something. Guys, these, if you can get silverware, that's what you want, because the properties of silver are antimicrobial, antiviral. They're really, really good for silverware. But I like this old set here. This person was selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and I saw it. And so I was like, oh man, $30. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it's like gently used. And so I met up with her and she told me the story and stuff. She's like, well, this was my mom's. And so this was Nancy's stuff. She got it as a wedding gift in 1961. She got this stuff as a wedding gift and in 1961. And guys, it's in great shape. I don't know if you can tell from there, but it's like super shiny and beautiful. And it's, yeah, just super cool. So I like these kind of things. You know, I wanted to show you guys these silver spoons and stuff like that, because using the real elemental silver in your eating ware is where it's at. And they do it that way for a reason, historically. You know, they know what they're doing. So yeah, Facebook Marketplace. And it even came with the old thing, you know, community, the finest silverware from, and so, you know, the advertising thing from, I think that kind of stuff's cool. Look at this knife, man. And yeah, that's a score, a super score. So if you guys are into that, you can do that. So, okay, guys, well, we are, yeah, so we harvested potatoes yesterday, and Creative Soil says, Brother Nate, I follow your advice. I'm changing my mind, life, body, and learning how to feed myself. Thank you for sharing that, my friend, because that is what it's all about. That is, that's just what it's all about. Absolutely. So, the potatoes, okay? Two distinctly different kinds of potatoes. Now, this is a russet Burbank, a jacket potato, super thick skin. You're gonna grow that and you're gonna use that for baking. This is pretty much like a jacket potato. You'll roast it or bake it, and then you kind of don't eat these skins. You can, but they're real thick and fibrous. So this is like a baked potato. This is the Yukon Gold potatoes. And these are very, very thin skin and super delicious. And so these, you eat the skin, and there's not nearly as thick. So you can just cut these up. I boil these. If you watch the video I just made about the cabbages, you know, I also show you how I like to make potatoes. Guys, watch all the cooking videos, okay? And yeah, so when we harvest these, we do not brush any of the dirt off, and we do not clean them, and we just dry them for about a week, 2 weeks, and then we're gonna put them into the basement storage, which I'll probably make a video to show you guys. But these will last most of the winter. These will last most of the winter. It will last well into January, February, some of them into March, some of them we'll plant next year. So yeah, if you do it right. And Jason says, the Vikings would be proud, Nate. Oh yeah, the potatoes, definitely. Oh yeah, potatoes and silver, of course. See, I'm just naturally pulled to all of that kind of stuff, though. It's in my blood. Busy Girl says, it should say on the silver what it is. You can also research the pattern and company. Oh yes, it's community. This one is it's called community. Yes, but now there is actual silverware of like the upper class that is actual sterling silverware. But for one set of like 6 places of true sterling silverware, it's like 10 grand, yeah, or more. It can be like 10 grand now. So this is not that kind. This is silver plated, but it's still good enough. It's good enough for us. Not a problem. There's silver in it. The outside is silver, so antimicrobial, high vibrational, and the lady was so happy that I was that I was so enthused about it, because I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I'm going to use this right away. And she was like, kind of surprised. She was like, oh, well, I'm okay here. I'm so glad that you're going to value this, because it was her mom's. You know, her mom obviously kept it real clean for so many years. Her mom passed, and now she's just like getting rid of it for $30 on Marketplace. And so, you know, people like when they give something to someone who is going to value it. They really do. But I'm truly going to value it. So it's a win-win. Yes. Okay. Oh man, look, we're 95 minutes already. This time has flown today. Yeah. Thank you, Pam. She says, thank you, Nate, for another great live chat. So yeah, guys, Big Will Dog says, go to estate sales to buy sterling silver at a good price. Yeah. I mean, maybe, well, probably, but with the rise of the internet, everyone knows what they got. You just put it on the internet. Oh no, we ain't selling that there. We're going to sell that. We'll just put that off to the side. That's like garage sales and all that stuff. You hardly find good stuff there anymore, because Marketplace and the internet, eBay and all that. It's like, all right, guys. Every Saturday at 12 noon, we are right here at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters. And every Monday at 10:30 a.m., we are at the Thrive Like a Viking channel. And we talk about all kinds of good stuff. So we will see you there. And remember, you can still plant leafy greens, you know, your giant mustard, your lettuce, even some of the turnips. You'll get small ones, but mustard greens, you can still plant all that stuff, guys. So get it planting. If you've got stuff that's struggling or that's overdue, then boom. Pull it out and put the new stuff into it. Kill Me Last says, my house and garden was blasted by a tornado. My surviving plants showing fungi. I trimmed the leaves, too close to harvest. What can I do? Yeah, you will. What area are you in? Because you might just want to pull them. You might just want to pull them and replant. Because if they're sickly and showing fungus or powdery mildew and stuff, then it's... I mean, you can spray them with a bunch of, you know, J-Dom sulfur, J-Dom wetting agent, but ultimately, I would just pull and replant. That's what I do. Every year, my collard green plants, the Georgia collards, they get powdery mildew at about August. They just do. They just, no matter what. So some years I've sprayed them with the J-Dom sulfur and the J-Dom wetting agent, and it keeps it at bay. It pretty much cures it, pretty much. But you have to spray it often and stuff. So I'm to the point now where I just, okay, they're going to get powdery mildew. So I'm going to have some already ready in cups, grown up to about this tall, and I'll just pull them and replant fresh ones. And that's how I like to do it. Just pull it and replant something else. So the garden is resilient, my friend. The earth wants to provide for you. The earth wants to grow. So just let it do what it wants to do without stifling it, and it will. All right. Elizabeth, yes. Said this flew by. Thank you, Nate. Going to mail your box after this. Thank you for everything. I look forward to it, my friend. Thank you so much. And guys, if you want to send something to the P.O. box, you can do that. Look here. I'll show you real quick. Here is the thing. It's garden. You can send it to Garden Like a Viking, P.O. Box 9101. Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46899. And that is a P.O. box, and I will get it. And all you guys have sent so much cool stuff already. So I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the energy, the contribution, everything, guys. So see you next time.